Hi again, this is Mark with Mark's Minerals Videos. This is the piece of Aguascalientes that I was cutting. This one's going to take several hours with that long saginetic spray down the middle. I've been working at it, but it requires some detailed work with the magnifying. I'm going to be using a lot of magnifying lenses, and I'm going to use super fine bits, but that's not really entertaining because it just takes forever. So I'm going to stick that in with my windowed stuff. And I'm going to reach in. I like the small stuff. Here we go. They're easy. You can knock them out pretty quickly. It's good to get them wet. You can knock out the smaller ones a lot faster. And sometimes it's really satisfying to get those done. Let's see what we have. And like I say, after I get them, you want to soak them, go through them, and then determine what you've got. I guess we could just pick one at random. There's a nice, let's see if we can focus. Nice layer of chalcedony. I like that red clay at the bottom, dark roast rock. That one's obviously close. You can see the bubble of the fire. Might be, is that too easy? Let's do this one. Alright, we're going to do this one, and there's already some exposure, there's already some weathering, because the smaller stuff usually gets forgotten, knocked around, pushed around in the pile, so it gets weathered faster, and they're a lot easier to work through. And the stone this size is going to be perfect for a ring or put a few into a pendant. So, alright, that's the one I'm going to work, and be right back. Alright, so I'm progressing through, let's see if I can focus, progressing through the stone, and the layer down here with the orange is the one I want, but I'll first cut down to that greenish one as I go, and because I could always go a little further if it's not to my desire. Alright, loud noises. Again, trying to maintain steady, even pressure. If you go through the stone at the same pace, you're going to have more even results when everything is said and done. You don't want to force your bit. I like to use lots of water to keep the dust down, so you should be wearing a mask and eye protection as well. And I'm gonna stop here in a second once I'm at a level. I want to finish the entire stone in one video, and I don't want it to take forever. Alright. So normally with a big stone, you'd take a insignificant corner and window it down. See what kind of patterns you have, what kind of colors you have, and decide whether or not it's worth your time finishing the stone out. That's what I like about the small ones. You can see the color right on top most of the time, and if it's not good, you switch on to a different one. If it is good, you can knock it out real fast. Alright, and I'm going to make a little more progress and be back. Thanks. Hi again. So this is where I am. I've exposed some of the color on the stone. I can see where the layers are, but some of those crevices are really tight, so I'm going to have to switch to a finer bit. I already have done that. This is the smaller bit. It's for reference. This is this bit. This is the one I was using before. All right. So again, it's smaller, and because it's smaller, oftentimes I'm wearing these magnifying goggles and I'm working up close. That's my preferred method. Let's get these on. So I'm going to do a little bit because this is more detailed work and does require some me being close up to the stone. See if we can get that centered. And you can actually feel it and watch it as it peels away. That top layer will slip away like a sheet off of a table, like a tablecloth coming off. So with the magnifying goggles, it allows you to be right on top of it and just to get to that thinnest layer before you break through. And then I would switch to either a super fine or a Cratex, something to start sanding out and getting ready for the polishing phase. So I'm going to continue to work the stone with these small points, and I'll return when I have more of it done. Thanks for watching. Hi again. Alright, so this is where we are as far as progress so far. There is a ton of pin fire in here, and there's some really nice sheets of color, bigger bubbles. I've cleared away almost all the chalcedony. On the sides, the pin fire starts to give way to these. Let's see if we can expand this. You'll actually start to see some of the individual sagonetic rods as they poke up. And those sagonetic rods, when you start to grind into them, that's what gives you your pin fires. So they're all just stacked together. I'm going to continue cleaning off. There's a couple little dead spaces in there. I'm going to try to make the most of it and do what I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch to Cratex. When I do that, I'll come back, just updating you. Thanks. Hello again. Mark's Minerals Videos. This is Mark. So this is the piece I've been trying to work beginning to end. I've removed a lot of the brown. I've uncovered a lot of pin fire. There's some good color on top that I'm on top of. You'll notice that I left a little layer of brown to orange, and I'm going to work through that with either like a combination of Nova Points and Cratex. I'm going to use Cratex mostly because they tend to be more affordable for beginners, and they're effective little tools. So this I've done with these small bits that I showed earlier. And one second. Reference, smaller bits, regular standard size bit. So that's where I am with that. I have to assess the stone. Now, how am I going to cut it? Well, if I want it to be wearable on jewelry or pendant or something else, it's not going to have this bottom, and it's kind of oddly shaped, just the way the fire deposited. If I look at this bottom one, I see here there is another layer of gorgeous fire, maybe 2 to 3 millimeters down. And there's some decent bubbles in here, but it's just not that great. So I'm probably going to trim all of this off, and this will disappear. You're going to start to see the shape of the stone change. I don't want to do my final cutting till the very end, so I actually have something to hold on to while I'm cutting. Yeah, alright, so we'll be back with a little more. Thanks for watching Mark's Minnows videos. And hi again, Mark's Minerals videos. I'm working this Aguascalientes fire agate beginning to end. At this point you should be wearing eye protection and lung protection at the very least. Be careful you're not wearing any loose clothing, no jewelry, nothing that's going to get caught in this. And I like to work at about 7,000 or lower RPM. And this one you can do dry toward the last stages. It's almost better to do them dry because you're going to start to get rid of some of these burrs, and you'll be able to see immediately if you have to go right back over it. At this point I've trimmed the stone quite a bit. Let's see if we can focus. At this point I've trimmed a bunch from the back, and I'm just trying to smooth that away. I'm going to keep these bubbles, and I think I'm going to turn the whole thing into a pendant. It's got a little bit of fire on back that I'm going to continue trying to bring out. So, more of the same old, same old. I'm going to continue to sand till the front and the back look about the same, that I've taken out any really deep burrs or scratches that are in there. There are some imperfections in the stone. This isn't a perfect piece of agate. It's got some inclusions, which is fine, because a lot of those impurities and inclusions are what brings the color and the beauty to the stone. So I will keep working, and when I feel like the stone's all at about the same layer, and when I'm ready to switch off to polishing, we'll be back. Alright, we're back. Here's this Aguascalientes piece, and we're in the home stretch. I'm just about done with all the sanding, and I've tried to make sure that if there's any burrs or real problems with the stone, that I've addressed those. One of the best ways to find that out is with a pre-polish. So I've taken some cerium oxide, and you can buy that powder online. I mixed it with a little bit of water, and I repurposed one of these syringes that the polish comes in. And I squirt a small amount onto the stone and kind of work it into the grooves. And this is just a pre-polish. This isn't my final polish. I can go over this stone with my magnifying lens when I'm done, and if there's any real problems, I'll be able to pick them out then. And the polish will actually make that easier. After I'm done with the polish, I'm going to rinse it with some Dawn soap and a toothbrush, trying to get out anything from the cracks and crevices again, so that whatever I've pulled up with that cerium oxide doesn't get into the finer polishes. And I'm just going to go nice, steady, and slow over the whole stone. There are some voids, there are some cracks and crevices, or rather there seems to be one crack up front, but it's already healed, so I'm not worried about the integrity of the stone so much. And it's going to be a more organic shape, a more organic piece. I thought that's perfect for a pendant. This thing should flash when it hits the sun. And don't bear down in any one spot for too long, because even with the brush, you'll start to create burrs or rip into the rock. That polish does take away stone, albeit a little bit at a time. It's polishing away the stone. So I'm going to continue this, going down and over, and when I'm done with the cerium oxide and done cleaning it, before I hit it with the final polish, we'll come back. Just wanted to kind of update you as to where we are with the Aguascalientes fire agate from beginning to end. I'll be back. Thank you. Hi again. Alright, here we are. Aguascalientes piece. It's just about ready for polish. So this is when you want to do any last minute work, any last minute touch-ups. So if you happen to scuff the stone, you can get rid of them before the final polish. So I'm still going to go over the back and do a little more sanding. But I've decided I'm going to turn this into a pendant. And I want it to lay like this, so it's got these flashes of the pin fire and another fire up there. So I've decided I'm going to put a hole here, here, and then put a loop through it. And I've chosen this bit here. So it's going to get loud again, obviously. Lots of water. You don't want it to get hot. You don't want anything to crack. Here we go. Sorry, it's going to get loud for a second. I'm just basically going to start and tap the hole. The rest of it I'll do off camera. I just want to, like I said, start to finish. So here we go. A small, once you've initiated the hole, steady pressure, keep it cool, small gentle rocking motion. You're kind of creating a slurry within the rock with the stone itself and that diamond bit, so it continues to cut the stone. All of this is stuff that you just want to take your time with, and I don't want to bore you on camera. So I want to make sure that you have a good idea of what I'm doing at each stage. So it's not the whole hours of me cutting the stone. I think even condensed, this video is going to wind up being over an hour. And I hope that's okay with everyone. One of the viewers, Zach, commented that he'd love to see it, so that's what I'm trying to provide. Alright. 1 second. I'll give you an idea. That's where the loop's going to go. So I'm going to continue cutting through down and forward, down and forward until they meet up, and then I'll smooth it out a little bit with this tip, and then I'll come back when I'm ready to polish. Thanks for watching. And hello again. This is Mark from Mark's Minerals. I've been trying to work this Aguascalientes piece from start to finish, and I've done a pretty good job of exposing a lot of those bubbles in that saginite or sagonite. And I love that it comes in different sizes and those colors are nice and brilliant. I drilled out a little hole here so that it can be turned into a pendant or hung. I smoothed out the back. I'm going to leave it a little bit rustic. Just like with diamonds, there's small flaws in the stone. There's a little divot here. There's a little one here. Let's see, to try to focus better. There's a little crack here throughout the stone, but it's healed, which means that after the stone cracked, as the layer was becoming re-agatized, or as it was developing, it healed again. So even though the earth shifted and somewhere it broke, it's not going to come off. I've wrenched on it to make sure if it is going to come off, that it's come off. Layers have deposited over it, so it's solid. So like I said, just with diamonds, there's inherent flaws in the stone, and that's okay. That's one of the beauties of fire agate. It's got that wabi-sabi quality. So I've gone through, I've cut it, I've sanded it, and I'm ready to do a little polishing on it. So my whole goal with this video was to show that this can be done inexpensively. I'm just using some diamond polishing paste from THX Technologies. Comes in a 7-pack, I believe. I'm using these felt burrs. Also comes in a large pack. I stayed away from using my Nova Points. Instead, I used these kind of generic rubberized abrasive bits. I'm just using these generic felt bits, and I label them depending on the sanding that I'm doing. Cratex and knockoff Cratex even. I stayed away from my sintered bits. I used them for a second, but I want to show you, you can actually use these things, these diamond coated bits. They come in handy. I like them. As long as you use them with water and you get some good ones, they'll last you for a while. Alright, let's get back to this. So, like I go with polish, I'll add a little to the brush, add a little to the stone. You don't need a whole lot. And I usually start at a low speed to kind of incorporate it, get it spread out. And just like when you're polishing other things, you want those small little concentric circles so you get a nice even finish. After I'm comfortable that it's worked into the brush, that it's distributed over the stone, I'm going to kick it up so it's going to get loud. Again, the same gentle, steady pressure that you were using before. And you just want to pick a corner, start from that corner, then follow it back down, up, over. Consistency is going to, if you're consistent and thorough and patient, you're going to wind up with a really nice surface. You're going to wind up with a really good polish. So I've broken it up into quadrants in my mind, where it's this back quadrant, and I'm going to go to the middle and then the other edge, or I'm sorry, thirds. And I think you'll notice in my videos, sometimes I'll correct myself. It's because I'm thinking more about the stone, less about what I'm trying to say. I'm going to go back over it with a bristle brush and some polish too, to get in the corners, get in those edges. So I'm going to do this. Uh, this particular polish, there's seven different grits from 5 micron down to 0.25 micron. So basically you're finishing up at with like 100,000 grit polish. Alright. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm not going to film it the whole time. And I'll do it with the 5, and then I'll gradually work down the line. 3.5 micron, 3 micron. It's less wear and tear on the brushes, and it takes time to do each step, but you get a better finished result if you're on a budget. If you're not on a budget and it's not a concern, there are some more expensive products out there that you can use. There's the Nova Points, there's Diashine, the Diaflex wheels. Some great tools, but they can get really pricey. And if you're just learning to cut fire agate, which is what these videos are geared toward, you shouldn't be spending a lot of money until you're sure that it's something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy. Alright. Well, aside from being blue, let's see if we can focus in again. You can see that saginite in these sprays actually radiating out into these little bubbles of green and purple and such. And then you got a flat field in the back here, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to go ahead and finish polishing, then we'll come back and finish up this video. Thanks for sticking around. Hi again. Thanks for watching Mark's Minerals videos. This is the last installment of this particular start to finish Aguascalientes. It turned out to be a pendant that I'm pretty happy with. We got a hole drilled for it, and last minute I'm going to check it. 1 second. Alright, so it turns out we're at 29 by 13 by 9 millimeters at its widest points. So 29 end to end here, 13 across the width, and the breadth of it 9 millimeters. So I try to find the widest possible point. So it's not that way consistently across the stone, but that's what I like. And if there's any fluctuation on the weight, I tend to drop it down 5/10 of a carat or 5/100 of a carat, because I'd rather err on the lighter side. So that's Aguascalientes Fire Agate start to finish. Turned out to be a nice little pendant. And I guess the last thing that I'd be figuring out is how I'm going to price this thing. For this quality and this cut, I'd say $15 a carat is extremely fair. But I always, I also tend to drop my prices. This particular one I'll probably put in the range of $12 a carat. There you have it. Thanks for watching Mark's Minerals videos. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Mark's Minerals videos, and like and subscribe the video if you want to see more. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.